All right, so today I'm out here training outside. It is a beautiful day. It is actually first day of daylight savings, or however you call that. So it's gonna be the sun's gonna be out much longer. Yeah, I just love training outside. I just love every bit, about it. Like just like the beauty of it, the air, the breeze, the animals, the music, right? Like all of like the birds chirping and then like the noise like from like the trees rustling and stuff like that. Just a beautiful experience. And also like tomorrow is or this video is gonna actually go up on the first day of Ramadan. But as I'm recording this, tomorrow is gonna be Ramadan. So, inshallah I do well with Ramadan this year. Last year I wasn't really able to finish it because I got sick on like literally the last 3 days. So that was very unfortunate to happen. But inshallah, this year nothing like that happens. So a couple days ago, a commenter just asked like, what are my thoughts on nofap? This is kind of like a topic, at least when it came to porn addiction specifically, I've wanted to bring up. But I guess this is a good catalyst to bringing it up. So what is nofap? Nofap is kind of like, I guess you could call it like a movement or just something like to do where this usually refers mostly to males, where you abstain from masturbation and pornography, right? I don't think it specifically outlines abstaining from sex, but those two things, pornography and masturbation. And so, uh, it's supposed to kind of combat against like porn addiction. So the term FAP, no FAP. So the term FAP, which is like fapping or whatever, it just means masturbate. Masturbation, referring to male masturbation. So the whole point is that you kind of want to go as many consecutive days as you can without watching porn or without masturbating. That way you don't like break your quote unquote no FAP streak. And so I think in general, if you are a person who is aware and you realize your problems and your addictions and you want to do whatever you can to fix it, like you're already on the path to do so, that is a noble thing to do. And I'm not going to harshly judge anybody who does nofap or thinks nofap is a good idea, but these are just my thoughts on it. So I don't think nofap, like if you're gonna do quote unquote nofap, it shouldn't be like a complete focus on your day. So when it came to my experience, right, of doing nofap, what happened is that it became like a part of me. It became like a obsession almost. So I used to have like a piece of paper that I would like put tallies on the for the days, every day that would pass by, and I would put tallies on there, being like, okay, oh, I made it to day 50, I made it to day 60, or whatever the case may be, and it's like every time I would end up relapsing, and I would be so disappointed in myself. I would be so like down and stuff like, oh man, I'm horrible, I'm gross, I'm disgusting, stuff like that. Just having all these negative thoughts about me. And when that happens, when you end up relapsing into something and you have all these negative thoughts and emotions about yourself, what you're going to believe is that, okay, well, I'm already like a monster. I'm already bad. I'm already gross. So why don't I just degenerate even further? And that's just going to lead you to be like, okay, well, you weren't watching porn or masturbating for 60 days, but now you're like watching porn multiple times a day for like 7 days or for like a whole week or 2 weeks or whatever. So it's like that's where it kind of ends up becoming a problem because you put so much importance and focus on it. What it should be, what should happen, in my opinion, is that the act of not masturbating, not watching porn should be something that is a lifestyle. Something, not a lifestyle, but something that is like you just don't do, basically. So, and why don't you do it? Well, because you don't have the adequate time to. There's no point in doing it. There's no, you're not going to get anything out of it. There's no point in doing that. So you kind of have to think of like ways to not do that. So you have to keep yourself busy, right? Like whether it be through working out, whether it be through Just finding other ways, journaling, reading, of course, doing schoolwork, studying, learning something new. Just imagine all the times that you probably spend, like, assuming you do, that you probably spend, like, just watching porn or masturbating, beating your meat, that you could have used a lot of that time towards something a lot more productive. And when you try and replace that time that you would usually masturbate with something productive, then you kind of end up like disregarding it without even thinking about it. And that's the thing. You're not supposed to think about it, right? When I had the tallies up and I had like this, I even had a counter on my phone. I'd be like every day checking it, every day looking at it. Like my whole day would revolve around me not masturbating. And it's like, okay, I didn't watch porn that day, but guess what? I played video games all day, or I watched TV all day, or I didn't exercise today, something like that. Like I didn't draw today, I didn't read today, whatever the case may be. So it's like you have to just be able to change up your lifestyle to where you're more busy, to where you just have more on your plate. So it's not like you're always caught up in like, oh, I can't watch porn today. You're like scratching your neck like you're an addict or something. I'm on day 35, guys. I can't relapse. I have to make sure. I have to make sure I'm still like, come on, man. Like, come on. And I know it is like when it comes to porn addiction, it is kind of hard because it's not like there's like alcohol anonymous for like porn addicts. There's not like a lot of therapy groups for people who are addicted to porn. Some people don't even believe you can be addicted to porn. Some people don't even believe that. So it's like it's not gonna be easy trying to do something like this on your own, because like you might be in the dark about it. You might not share it to your friends or especially your family members. But one thing is that you're aware that you have a problem that needs to be fixed. Because like it's a huge problem. Like just porn addiction is a huge problem, and I feel like only now it's really just coming into light, and people are just not realizing that because it's like I've been seeing like images and stuff like ever since I was like a young child, right? So like it's too easy to come across this stuff even by accident. You can even come across this stuff by accident as a young child, looking on whatever phone or device or whatever you might have had at the time. And when these images and these videos or whatever they are introduced to a young child mind, it can end up creating certain pathways and ways of thinking. And you don't tend to look at people the same way. You don't tend to think of relationships the same way. It's like every decision you make is based off of like that one pornographic image you saw when you were like 8 years old or something like that. So you just have to kind of reverse that by first of all getting your mind off of it. And how do you get your mind off of it? You become more productive. So you exercise more, right? Because think like you can exercise twice a day if you work up to it, right? Like you could do cardio in the morning, then you could do weightlifting at night or whatever. You can start reading for like 10 pages a day. It doesn't even matter what book it is. You could pick up the Bible, read 10 pages a day. You could pick up, right now on my desk, I have Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, 10 pages a day. You can start trying to do like studying an hour, maybe learning a new skill an hour. Become completely enveloped with other things that will take your mind off of porn and off of masturbation, right? If you're going to do nofap or whatever, you should be doing things that in the meantime keep you distracted from it. Because it's like when I was doing it, when I was like however many days in and I didn't have anything to do, I was more likely to do it. That's usually when I would relapse because I didn't have anything to do that day. I didn't have work that day. I didn't have school. I didn't have any assignments or whatever. I wasn't really trying to do anything that day or whatever the case may be. So a full 24 hours is just me not doing anything, right? And then you also have to make sure you prioritize certain aspects of your life. I don't know, man. Maybe instead of like sitting on your bed and like pulling your pants to your ankles and pulling up whatever website, how about like call your grandma, you know? How about you like, give a call to one of your aunties or something, or one of your uncles or a relative, or maybe your dad is out at work or your mom's out at work. How about you give them a call and just check up on them, right? Like it's it's something to further distract you from that. Now, I'm not saying all these things are easy, because when it comes to addiction, at some point it's as if there's a weird, like, monster version of yourself, or like some weird shadow version of yourself that kind of takes over your body. But that's why we have to conquer our mind, body, and soul. So you have to have certain beliefs and certain ways of thinking that will keep you from not divulging into those degenerate behaviors, right? I I probably I guarantee, like, someone who's like genuinely dedicated to probably like their religious practices, whether they're Christian or Muslim or even Jewish, they're probably less likely to go out and, I don't know, have sex with some hoe or whatever, or they're probably less likely to just masturbate away the entire day away. And that's because it's like they have, their faith of that, like, okay, somebody's watching over them, somebody, like, their God is watching over them, judging their every move. There's certain rules and things and commandments set in place for us to not divulge into these degenerate behaviors. So it's like, because, like, think about it. Think of all the people who go out drinking, all the people who go out partying, all the people who just do degenerate stuff. How bad do you think they feel about what they're doing? Like, do you think they feel bad at all about what they're doing? Probably not. Probably because they don't have, strong faith or belief in some type of spiritual thing, and it's gonna cause you to try and just go out and do whatever, because you don't feel like there's any consequences to your actions, right? I mean, outside of like ruining your health, probably, and your mental health. But you don't think that, you're not thinking of the hereafter, you're not thinking of just regular day-to-day lives, and, like, your actual mental and physical state. And that's what's going to cause you to do a lot of these things, right? Like, I'm pretty sure, someone who believes in their God, and in a God or in God, if they were to go and masturbate, they'd probably feel a lot more bad about it, because it's like, well, I just went against, what I'm supposed to be believing in. And I'm not saying every single decision you make has to be based off of religion. I'm just saying that have some type of moral system or code, or whatever the case may be, that keeps you from getting into these degenerate behaviors. And one thing too, so going back to just nofap, right? I know I got a little bit off topic, but this, again, you can't be the person who's like, oh, I do nofap. No, you have to be the person who just does not do it. Be the person who just does not do it, because there's so many other things in life that you'd rather be doing besides masturbating, right? I'm pretty sure, like, if you really think of all the times you were just beating it, like, come on, bro. Like, did you really want to at that exact moment? Sometimes it's like, you don't even really want to. Sometimes you just kind of end up doing it just because, probably because you were bored, probably because you were sad, so maybe it's like a coping mechanism, or whatever the case may be. Most times when we go out and do something that is like, addictive, or numbing, or escapism, or whatever, it's, either because we've done it so much that it's almost a part of our regular life, and that weird shadow version of ourselves ends up taking over our body, or it's a coping mechanism in order to escape from, whatever harsh reality you have, or things like that. And it causes us to not make any progress, right? So you're going to relapse over and over if you're like doing nofap, if you don't have anything else to do. So, and it's like, if you're also focusing on it so much, like, if you're like, it revolves around your life every day, is like revolves around not masturbating. Like, that's literally how my life was for some point, right? And it's crazy, because it's like, okay, 60 days in, and then I relapse, right? Like, for 60 days, my life was basically just, okay, don't masturbate, don't watch porn, don't masturbate, don't watch porn, because I literally have, like, either a counter, like a tracker on my phone, or I literally have a sheet of paper taped to my wall with tally marks on it, and I see a physical representation of that every single day. So of course it's gonna manifest in a way to where it's like, oh, I better not masturbate today. I better not watch porn today. And that's my entire life, right? Even if I just played video games the whole day, oh well, I didn't masturbate, and then as if that was a whole productive day because I didn't masturbate or whatever. And then once I did relapse, I had all these negative thoughts, right? So, and then I would further degenerate back into those behaviors. So it's like one thing is like, don't have it in your mind so much that you're doing nofap. Just do other things that will keep your mind and your body occupied to where you just don't fap.